Hello and welcome to a MMP video, and today we're looking at Power Rangers Lightning Collection Remastered Mighty Morphin Pink. So we got a nice picture of the figure on the front and the image on the side, and then on the side here, if you're an inbox collector, you can put them all together. It looks very cool. And then on the back you get everything you expect from the Ultimate Pink Ranger, and a picture of her morphin from those promo shots, I'm sure. And then on this side, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and then just a picture down there. So let me get Kimberly out of her packaging so we could have a closer look. Firstly, the good news is I have everything that I was expecting from this figure, so which is good news. So she comes with her civilian head in the packaging, which has been going on for a while. The thing that I don't like about the packaging is that they end up turning limbs, etc., and they're not fixed. And I feel like that does affect them sometimes. I really feel like that affects them. So we've got these effects which are cool. I'm not necessarily a big fan of effects, but there's probably some of the better effects that we've had. She also comes with a morpher, so you can see the pterodactyl in there in the pink glowiness, etc. So she can obviously hold that. That probably wasn't the best position, but it has the bit on the back. The back is not painted, which is perhaps a little bit disappointing to those who are big fans of Zoo Ranger. And even though it's cool that we get a morpher, from my perspective, it would have been better if they gave us civilians to go with this remastered figure. That would have worked a lot better for me personally, in terms of my opinion, because while she's almost pink, she's never going to whip out her morpher and say morphin time. Makes no sense. I feel like the Kimberly head is actually pretty cool. It's a lot better than the previous iteration that we got, and the worst Kimberly face ever. But this is definitely an upgrade. Looking at the body, I feel like there is a difference in terms of the pink. It certainly does feel very, it reminds me of highlighted sort of pink. It's that sort of color, etc. But it looks pretty cool. You've obviously got the morpher on there, hence the morpher also making no sense in terms of this release. But, you know, it's, once again, it's cool. It sticks out, which is very, very decent. You've obviously got the black lines going around, which was a bit of detail missed from previous releases. In terms of weapons, I can get her to stand and get that to focus. You do get the Blade Blaster, and this should have been a given when we first started getting Power Rangers. They should have been perfect, but these are very well detailed in terms of how they look. I think they look very, very decent. Get the Blade Blaster with the knife out, and like I said, this should have been given right at the beginning. And she obviously comes with her power bow, which has the areas on there. So, and it's got the little chip in there, which tells me that when I've got them all reviewed, I'm going to be able to combine that power blaster. And then you've got the arrow, which in a minute I'm hoping I can show her holding the arrow, and she is going to be in a decent position. And obviously finally the helmet. So let's just do a little close look off the helmet rather than on the body, because I feel like I could show it a little bit better. There's some really, really nice detail all the way around, which looks very, very nice. I'm not noticing any issues at all in terms of mine. I don't know why there's a little weird bump under there, which is a bit strange. But anyhow, so in terms of articulation, focus back on the figure. So with the helmet on, you're going to be able to rotate that all the way around. The hair, actually, I think you can get that all the way around. I'm not going to risk it for a biscuit. I do have a little chip there in terms of paint, which is a little bit disappointing. So she's got a butterfly in there. She's got the full whack there in terms of motion. You can swivel there. She does have the double joint there, but look how thin that is. Do be careful, because you will regret it. In terms of this hand goes up like that. It can spin around like that. If I move that out, come on, man. He wants to start some. You got the swivel there. She does have an ab crunchy crunch going on there, which is pretty cool. She does have the double joint on the leg, which you can lift up there. Now, this piece is very solid, so you're not going to get much motion there, which is a little bit disappointing, because I think on the other Ranger, which I will show, yeah, that bit is loose. This is actually connected to the skirt. The skirt does split out, though, but even so, you're still going to struggle to get that into a pose there. So they can go up, you can lift them down like so. And yeah, the usual. One goes up, one goes down. Motion is there, which is annoying. Swivel there. She does have double on the legs. Swivel there, which is nice. Lefty, righty, upsy, and a downsy. And I do love the creases on that boot. Look at that. Very, very nice. And I think, as Rob would point out, they haven't painted the bottom. So there we go. So let me put on the helmet and let's bring in the other Power Ranger, Kimberly, to compare against. Okay, so here they are together, and you can probably instinctively start to see some differences in terms of paint apps. The other thing, I was going to do a video a while back about how mine was turning from sort of pink to a sort of purpley color, etc. But the inconsistencies on this one were always very evident. The body is bigger. It looks a little bit more imposing. It will be interesting to see how these stack up against the other Lightning collection in terms of height, because Kimberly was smaller. So I always appreciate that this was a little bit smaller, although I felt like the Catherine Hillard should have been bigger. I guess that brings me to my next annoyance, is the fact that we haven't got a new Catherine head in here. Bear in mind, we've had a couple of Catherine Pink Rangers already. I still feel like there was probably a head sculpt that they could have added in there, or should have been in there as such, which, you know, like I said, it's just a little bugbear. You know, it'll be the same when I review Black Ranger as well. I will point out the fact it should have an Adam head in it, even though we've had a Series 2 Adam already. Now, because she has really nice double joints, unlike the original Pink, which I probably didn't point out before, you know, and that's the flappy bit that I was talking about earlier on the belt. She can actually really, they've designed the hand really, really well to hold the bow. And that was always a problem with previous Kimberlys that I always found frustrating, that I could never get them to a point that I was satisfied in. So definitely a plus in terms of how they've achieved that. I'm not sure exactly how they've achieved that. And then we're just going to bring in Yellow, Remastered, next to her like so. And then we are going to bring in Billy, Blue Ranger, in there as well. So you can instinctively see how Kimberly is maybe slightly smaller than Tree. Maybe we're only talking marginal here. I feel like maybe I may have misspoke in terms of that. But it feels like she is just slightly smaller. And then obviously Billy is definitely taller than Kimberly. So they've done really well in terms of the height, which is absolutely brilliant. So let's bring in some other Pink Rangers to showcase her against. So these are all the sort of Pink Ranger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers alliterations. I'm not sure if that's the right word. I'm sure it's the wrong word, so apologies. So we've got probably the worst, which is when they tried doing cell shading, and we expected them to all do it. I was probably excited about it, but looking at it today, it looks awful. So I'm kind of glad Hasbro haven't continued doing them. Maybe it didn't sell well, I have no idea. Then we have first version of Kimberly, and this is the head sculpt that I was talking about earlier, not being the best head sculpt in the world. Now, Hasbro sometimes do produce amazing head sculpts, and they do sound awful like that. Ranger Slayer, which is Boom Studios Comics Kimberly, where she was sort of evil, working with Lord Draken. Our Remastered, our Kimberly Ninja, our Catherine Hillard Ninja, our metallic armored pink Catherine Hillard, normal pink Catherine Hillard, which is that 2-pack, and then April O'Neil, which if you read Boom Studio Comics again, was part of that Teenage Mutant Turtle crossover. And they do look very, very cool together. You could easily have your own little pink shelf with this as well. I would probably be disappointed if all these figures didn't happen as well. I can't say that they're all not worth places in various different places. So you can have a Nigeli shield shelf, you can have a metallic shelf, you could have a season 3 shelf, Teenage Mutant Turtle shelf, season 1, season 2, Boom Studio Comics, and well, that's probably got no place in my collection at all, but I keep it anyway. So there you have it. There is my review of Remastered Pink, and I do hope you liked it. If you do like my channel, please support my channel by subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video as well. Thank you to those that are already subscribed to my channel. Without you, I don't have a channel, or I do, I'll just be talking to myself. Make sure you look after yourself, very important these days. And as always, embrace the geekiness. Take care. Goodbye.